Ugh. Why is he even here again? Stephanie's voice echoed through the hallway of the large financial firm, loud enough for everyone to hear. She rolled her eyes and whispered just loud enough. What does he even do here? Oh right, granny sitter. Liam heard it. Of course he did. He always did. But like every other day, he ignored it. He just smiled gently and kept pushing Mrs. Helen's wheelchair toward the private elevator. At 27, Liam didn't look like the usual corporate crowd. He wore clean but simple clothes, jeans, a cotton shirt, and worn sneakers. His job? Technically, he was listed as executive assistant to the chairwoman. But most of the staff just called him the old lady's babysitter. Mrs. Helen was the company's founder. Now 84, she used a wheelchair and rarely spoke. Her age and health had taken much of her strength, but her mind, oh, it was sharp. She just chose to stay silent more often than not. Her grandson had died young, and Liam, an adopted grandnephew, had taken care of her for years before she brought him into the company. No one really knew that part. No one cared to ask. They all assumed he was just her helper. A charity case. Stephanie was especially harsh. She was married to Daniel, one of the company's directors. A slick, fast-talking man who knew how to impress people. Except for Helen, who never liked him. Daniel and Stephanie often laughed behind Liam's back. Imagine going to college just to end up wiping an old woman's mouth and rolling her to meetings. They didn't know what Liam knew, and they certainly didn't know what was coming. One evening, Liam had to return to the office late because Mrs. Helen had forgotten her purse. When he stepped into the executive lounge, he heard voices, Stephanie and Daniel. He froze. What he heard next made his blood run cold. So when she dies, Stephanie giggled, we'll finally take over. The board likes us, and that pathetic helper will be out in a second. Daniel added, Liam? He's nothing. He doesn't even know what we've done. By the time Helen realizes, we'll already have full control. Stephanie laughed. That's if she lives long enough to realize anything. Liam slowly stepped back. His heart was pounding. They were plotting, not just for power, but also manipulating company finances behind Helen's back. He knew something was wrong, but now he had evidence. He waited for the perfect moment. The next morning, things got worse. In the lobby, Stephanie shouted in front of clients, "Oh look, Granny's favorite stroller is here. Did she pee again, or do you need to burp her?" The office burst into laughter. Liam looked at Helen. Her eyes were calm, but something flickered in them. Stephanie stepped closer, face smug. "You're lucky she pities you. Without her, you'd be sweeping floors." Liam gently pushed Helen forward without a word, not even a glance back. Later that afternoon, Helen called Liam to her private suite. Just the two of them. "You heard them last night, didn't you?" she asked, breaking her usual silence. Liam nodded. "I'm old, Liam, but I'm not blind. Or deaf. You've stayed with me when everyone else wanted what I had. And I know what you've given up." She slowly reached into her drawer and pulled out a folder. Inside was a document signed, notarized. "I rewrote my will last year, but I also changed something else. You are now the majority owner of the company. I just haven't announced it yet." Liam gasped. "What? No." She held up her hand. "You've earned it, and I want you to clean the house. Tomorrow." The next morning, a company-wide meeting was announced. All department heads, directors, and staff were called to the conference room. Stephanie and Daniel walked in confidently, smiling. They thought it was about Helen retiring. Liam stood quietly near the back, behind Helen's wheelchair. An executive announced, "Before we begin, the chairwoman has requested Mr. Liam to speak." Stephanie whispered, "Granny Sitter wants to speak? This'll be cute." Liam walked forward, voice calm. "Many of you know me as Mrs. Helen's assistant. What most of you don't know is, I am now the acting CEO and controlling owner of this company." The room went silent. Stephanie laughed nervously. Okay, joke's over. Liam didn't smile. I have here, he continued, financial records, security footage, and audio files showing Mr. Daniel and Mrs. Stephanie intentionally attempting to defraud the company and manipulate the board. Gasps filled the room. Helen nodded once from her chair. Liam turned to security. Please escort them out of the building. Their employment is terminated immediately. As security stepped in, Daniel shouted, This is a setup. He's lying. Stephanie screamed, You can't do this. You're just. Liam turned calmly. Just a granny sitter, right? She froze. But that granny sitter now owns everything. Weeks passed. The company transformed under Liam's leadership. He treated every employee with kindness and respect, but also demanded fairness. The toxic culture faded quickly. People began to talk less about how he looked and more about how he led. As for Helen, she smiled more now. And when she passed peacefully 6 months later, Liam gave a eulogy that moved even the coldest hearts. She taught me that loyalty isn't about blood. It's about standing beside someone when no one else will. People would later say it was poetic justice. The boy everyone mocked, the useless helper, was the only one who stayed true. And in the end, he didn't just get revenge. He built something better. He restored honor where there was none. He turned silence into strength. And he reminded the world, never underestimate the quiet ones.